Donald Trump is currently at Camp David right now, meeting with his generals, planning for war with Iran. I'm Sean Pruitt, president of Kingdom Exploration. I have 26 years of oil and gas experience, and I take all the news that I read, I share it with the world. And so if you're interested in oil and gas, if you're interested in oil and gas investments, this is the channel for you. Please subscribe. Behind me here is a gentleman by the name of Steven Nunez. He's incredible sources, viable. I've been watching him for years, and he is known to crack stories before they happen on mainstream media. So let's watch this. It talks about what's going on with Iran and how he truly believes that we're heading for war.
Good evening, friends. Stephen Benoon with Israeli News Live. We have breaking news coming out of the Middle East. They're right on the border of Iraq and Syria. Yet another Iranian official, this time an Iranian Revolutionary Guard commander, targeted by a drone. No doubt, Israel, once again, United States, who knows? Both these countries are preparing for a war with Iran. And we know that, as I had mentioned on Fact News Network just moments ago, in another breaking news story there, that the United States President Donald Trump is at Camp David. He's been there for about a week, meeting with his generals there. He's done a shakeup at the Pentagon. They are getting ready to go to war with Iran. Mossad intel that we've been getting in as well. Iran and Israel are going to go to blows very shortly. They're preparing. Now we have our good friend, Israeli journalist, sending information that Hezbollah has basically running for the hills, knowing as they're leaving their post in the Lebanon Valley, knowing that Iran has made the decision to strike. And seeing this here, another one of their officials being shot and killed. Iran has already said they would not tolerate any more hit and runs.
So we're heading for war here, guys. And what this means for the oil and gas industry is we are out of that realm of flat oil prices. The news has been focused on destroying the economy, flatlining the economy, because if you have a flat economy, Donald Trump doesn't get elected. Okay, the whole COVID, pushing the COVID numbers, pushing the supply demand fears and the oil and gas, all those woes. Now, that was the plan of the media. It was also the plan of Russia and Saudi Arabia, because their plan all along has been to flatline the oil prices to keep shale from profiting. If they could keep oil prices below $60 a barrel, it keeps the shale fracking industry from being able to profit, being able to sustain their numbers. And so the whole goal here is to take out fracking, to take out shale. So once again, OPEC plus, Russia, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, they could be in control of prices again. Right now, they're not in control because the U.S. shale fracking industry went from 6 million barrels a day and blew it up to 13 million a day. All that additional oil destroyed the wiggle room for the Middle East to play games. They can't do that anymore. There's energy security. And so with energy security, there's no room for manipulation, and oil prices remain low. And so the whole goal behind the Middle East is to control and keep them low to get shale out of the game. Okay. Now, war news is the greatest catalyst for oil prices. Iraqi Prime Minister Mustafa is under pressure from the U.S. officials to escalate his government's crackdown on Iranian-backed militias in Iraq, whose rockets who have repeatedly targeted diplomatic and military sites used by Americans over the past year. President Trump has now told his advisors he is prepared to order a devastating response if any Americans are killed in attacks attributed to Iran. With tensions running high, there are concerns here that provocative actions may either side could spark unintended conflict. Tensions in the region spiked further on Friday after a prominent Iranian nuclear scientist, Mohsen, was killed in an apparent targeted attack in Tehran. Iranian officials implicated Israel in the killing, raising the prospect that Iran or its proxies in the Middle East might retaliate against Western targets. Okay, so there's a tremendous amount of tension right now, and Trump is weighing on the idea of going to war. Okay. Trump sought options for attacking Iran to stop its growing nuclear program. Any strike, whether by missile or cyber, would almost certainly be focused in Natanz, where the International Atomic Energy Agency reported on Wednesday that Iran's uranium stockpile was now 12 times larger than permitted under the nuclear accord Mr. Trump abandoned in 2018. The agency also noted that Iran had not allowed it access to another suspected site where there was evidence of past nuclear activity. Mr. Trump asked his top national security aides what his options were available and how to respond. Obviously, Donald Trump is seeking counsel of how to handle Iran. Okay. Now, there's a lot has happened. It has escalated much higher since that conversation. Okay. That's why he's in Camp David. That's why he's talking to his top generals. Okay. Oil at $100, experts predict where crude could go if an Iran conflict breaks out. A top military aide to Iran's supreme leader warned this month that the first bullet fired in the Persian Gulf will push oil prices above $100 oil. A limited war would likely push oil prices above $100 per barrel, while major confrontation would likely drive prices above $150. Political risk consultancy Eurasia Group predicts. Okay, both major war and more limited confrontation would have significant impact on commodity prices and could trigger instability beyond the Gulf. Henry Rome, senior analyst at political risk consultancy, limited war would likely push oil prices above $100 per barrel, while a major confrontation will likely drive prices above $150. Rome said. So, bottom line, anytime there's instability in the Middle East, oil prices increase substantially. Islamic State claims attack on the Iraqi refinery. Islamic State militants launched a rocket strike against an Iraqi refinery, causing its shutdown. Reuters has reported. In a statement on a terrorist group official channel, IS took responsibility for the attack, which caused a fire at the fuel storage tank, which has been put under control. We completely shut down production units to avoid extensive damage that can result, one of the Reuters sources said. Okay. Saudi Arabia bombs Houthi rebels in response to the Aramco attack. So in response to that attack, the coalition led by Saudi Arabia bombed camps of Houthi rebels. Houthi rebels are the Iran's militia. Houthi rebels in Yemen on Friday after the Houthis hit a petroleum distribution center, oil giant Saudi Aramco near Jeddah early this week. The Saudi-led coalition hit sites believed to be holding rebels of the Iran-aligned Houthi movement in the Yemeni capital, Sana'a, the port city of Hodeidah, and the city of Aram, North Sana'a. So these are one of a few reports of that's happening in Syria, in Saudi Arabia, in the Middle East, in Iran, in Israel. There's a lot more going on than what we know. Okay, so that escalation and those tensions is causing Donald Trump to take potentially severe repercussions to what's happening right now. OPEC Plus forced to reschedule meeting as disagreements persist. The OPEC meeting ended on Monday without an agreement among its members regarding the production cuts next year. Instead, the meeting ended with three of its heavyweights, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and UAE, holding different opinions as to how they handle things going forward. The meeting with OPEC Plus was set to resume tomorrow, but late and rather surprising announcement came in the afternoon saying that the meetings had been rescheduled to the 3rd. Saudi Arabia, as the predominant and perhaps only swing producer in the group, is said to favor an extension of the current level of oil production cuts. Russia, the country, sank a deal in March. Similar issue is said to favor a gradual increase in production starting in January. The UAE, OPEC's third most prolific oil producer, is okay with extending the production cuts as into January and beyond only after. So the UAE and Saudi Arabia are interested in extending the cuts, where Russia is looking to slowly increase its output. Okay, so there's these three oil giants sitting at the table with a tremendous amount of pride, and Russia is the only one wanting to increase production. And quite simply, they're seeing oil prices starting to rebound. As you can see here, oil prices, WTI is 44.82, Brent crude is 47, and they're afraid of it hitting 50. So there's a reason why Russia is wanting to start increasing output, because they see on the horizon war is going to increase prices. Okay. They know things that Saudi Arabia does not. Okay. They know things that the UAE does not. Putin knows this. And so quite simply, their focus is to keep oil prices low enough to keep fracking and shale non-profitable long enough for their production to decline to a level so they have control again on oil prices. And so Russia wants to increase production because they don't want, it's too early for oil prices to hit $60, $70, $80 a barrel. So their focus is suppressing that. Okay. Now, U.S. oil demand set to soar in the coming months. Despite the surge in coronavirus cases in recent weeks, crude oil demand in the United States could be on track to increase in the coming months as inventories have been steadily declining since their peak levels in the summer. Okay. And so a lot of the news is doom and gloom for oil, but the truth is that the inventories is declining and demand is increasing. So U.S. shale production declines. So as you can see here in this chart here, from 2011 to 2020, we increased to 5 million barrels a day in the Permian region, and then we take a major dip here, and so we're dropping. U.S. shale production is expected to decline by 140,000 in December, month to month, according to EIA. The declines are spread across all major shale basins. The Permian is expected to lose 37,000, with further losses from the Bakken, minus 33,000, Eagle Ford, 27,000, Deborah, 22,000, and Anadarko, 20,000. Now, these are all shale plays that need fracking, okay? This is unconventional oil, all right? Unconventional oil. Fracking is the most expensive way to extract oil, okay? The reason why these are declining is because they're not drilling anymore. It's not profitable right now, and the banks have shut down providing financing for these massive shale plays. Natural gas production is also declining, and the Permian losing 128,000 million cubic feet of gas a day. Anadarko, 140,000 MCF, and minus 133. Eagle Ford, minus 112. Drillers continue to tap their drilled but uncompleted wells, DUCs, as a source of new production. So a lot of people ask me, Sean, well, why production isn't dropping faster in shale, being it's unprofitable? Well, it's because of drilled but uncompleted wells, DUC. So the wells have already been drilled, but they've been sitting there for a year or two, waiting to complete, waiting for oil prices to come back. Okay. And so what they're doing, they're bringing them online strategically. They're not just bringing them all online today. That would cause oil prices to plummet. They're bringing them on based upon the decline. Okay. And so right now in the Anadarko, there's a total of 683 in September, and then it dropped down to 661 in October. So that means they brought 22 drilled but uncompleted wells online. So there's several wells waiting that have already been drilled. They already hit oil. They're waiting to be completed. So there's a total of all of these regions. There's a total of 7,644 DUC wells in September, October, 7,558, total of 86 from September to October. So they're bringing on 86 brand new wells a month, essentially. Okay, almost 1% of the wells there. Okay, and so the reason why you see an increase in production is because they're bringing on these duck wells. Right now, the rig count is 320. And weekly change is increase of 10, frac spread count 135, weekly change increase of 8. Total production is 11 million barrels a day. Now, why that hasn't dropped down to 7 million yet is because they're bringing on brand new wells. But the decline the decline, you're really going to start seeing that here in the next few months here. And so a lot of exciting news right now in the oil and gas industry. I'm going to keep an eye on this thing. If you like this channel, please subscribe. And I'm going to be in Oklahoma Thursday and Friday, looking at some leases, looking at some current wells that are being drilled and some past wells that were drilled. And I'm going to be talking to some geologists and some engineers out there. And if you like this channel, please subscribe. And if you're interested in getting involved in oil and gas, look, now's the time to get involved. We could get onto premium leases. It's the cheapest it's ever been to develop right now, and you're getting a much bigger bang for your buck. The operators are giving a bigger percentage of what they of the oil project, just to increase the development of lands right now. This is the time to get involved. I'm Sean Pruitt, president of Kingdom Exploration. We'll talk soon. Thanks.